This game marks the first title in which the creators called themselves Squaresoft instead of Square. Squaresoft is simply the brand name used by Square, but its corporate name remained Square Company Limited. Despite popular belief, this game was actually made by the Japanese for the American market as an entry-level beginner-type RPG that features ridiculously simple features, options, story and control. Final Fantasy Mystic Quest was the first Final Fantasy title to be released in America before Japan. Almost a year later, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest was released in Japan as Final Fantasy USA Mystic Quest, and the Final Fantasy title was dropped entirely for the European release named Mystic Quest Legend. It's also the first Final Fantasy side story. This game, despite its flaws, is a personal favourite of mine, the first Final Fantasy released in Europe, and as such, the first Final Fantasy game I've ever played. Final Fantasy Mystic Quest's story, among other aspects, is incredibly simple. It focuses loosely on the crystal theme as seen before in the previous mainstream Final Fantasy titles, but the plot isn't particularly engaging or interactive, and in some parts it's even lame. The gameplay is probably the simplest in any game. Breaking away from the Final Fantasy signature works, there are no random battles. There is little interaction, and the game as a whole is far too linear. 90% of this game is played in battles, which are often tedious, too easy, and too boring. The game has several battle fields where the players must fight 10 battles in order to win a prize, which is often more money or more experience. Some of these battlefields can actually be won by simply holding down a single button. The world map was considerably restricted. You can only follow preset paths and can't go exploring on your own. You can only travel by foot, with the exception of a very small one-way trip on a boat near the end of the game, but even then you can't control the boat. To further simplify things, all items were automatically equipped when better versions were found. Spells had no levels, and the endgame boss could easily be defeated by casting Cure on him a couple of times. The characters include Benjamin, the main hero, Kylie, who would commune with trees, Tristan the ninja, Phoebe the archer, and Ruben, who wielded a morning star. The one redeeming feature, and it's a very small redeeming feature, is the music. Based loosely on a rock theme, the soundtrack has some great tunes. Once the battle themes got going, they're among my favourite Final Fantasy battle tunes. And on a final note, of all the games I've played in my time, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest has the best last dungeon music I've ever heard.